Not conspiracy theory. Not anonymous sources. Retired Mossad operatives. Former CIA officers. Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative journalists. All have gone on record. Jeffrey Epstein didn't run a sex trafficking ring. He ran a powerful Israeli influence and blackmail operation. Ghislaine Maxwell, Mossad asset and daughter of longtime Mossad operative Robert Maxwell, managed the operation. The targets: American CEOs, politicians, celebrities, entertainers, athletes, influencers. Anyone with power and anything to hide. The method was brutally simple. Identify the weakness, engineer the compromise, own the person. Because if you can compromise them, you can control them. And what has the United States government done with all of this? Sealed the files, protected the clients, buried the investigation. That's not incompetence. That's a decision. The Epstein investigation stopped being a pursuit of justice a long time ago. What it looks like now is a protection racket. Here is Congressman Ro Khanna regarding Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick's testimony before Congress. The man who claimed he barely knew Jeff Epstein had only met him one time, even though he shared a common wall between their condos and attended parties next door almost on a weekly basis, and has been photographed on Epstein Island 3 times. Just a side note, Lutnick also has connections to Israeli intelligence and is a large donor to the nation of Israel. Imagine that.
I mean, he refused to say there was any blackmailing, even though he thought that happened in the past. He refused to say that there was any video recording, even though he said in the past that Epstein was video recording these young girls. He refused to say anything abnormal about Epstein's Island. So someone obviously got to him from the administration. In fact, he said he talked to people in the administration, and that's why he's changed his tune. And the question is not just why he's lying. The question is why he's covering up, why he's no longer willing to share what he knows about Epstein's abhorrent behavior.
Gavin D. Becker, widely considered the world's foremost expert on personal security. A 3-time presidential appointee, founded Gavin de Becker and Associates, GDBA, in 1978, author of The Gift of Fear. His firm developed the Mosaic threat assessment system, now used by the CIA, FBI, and U.S. Marshals Service. Client roster includes over 80 of the world's most prominent families, including Mark Cuban, Jeff Bezos, Prince Harry, and Meghan Markle. He currently maintains contracts with U.S. government entities, including the CIA, FBI, and U.S. Marshals Service.
But I won't be the first guest, Stephen, that you've had that says that it was an intelligence operation. Why the U.S. government is reluctant to be more transparent, some of it is national security, some of it is, let's imagine, an ally of ours is involved in that operation. So there's a reluctance and there's a question, it's a little bit like UFOs, could the public handle it, is the question that's always asked in these cases. Meaning, could the public handle it if, for example, the UK was running an intelligence operation inside the United States to control senators and congressmen and powerful executives and powerful figures and scientists? Could we handle it? Could the US public handle it? My take personally, absolutely yes.
So you believe that he was an intelligence asset, and it sounds like you believe he was an intelligence asset potentially by a US ally.
Yes.
So who is that ally?
Israel. Yes.
So who is that ally?
Israel.
Oh,
yes,
intelligence
I do.
asset.
Yes, I do. And Ghislaine Maxwell, just for additional background, but everybody can find it, her father was an Israeli intelligence asset who was so revered. His funeral ceremony was held in Israel, was attended by the prime minister, by I think the last 4 or 5, by every living head of Mossad attended. And there were words used in eulogies like he did things for Israel that the world will never know about. There's a lot of good connection there and a lot of good connective tissue, some of which I've shared with you because it's public and some of which I'm not sharing. But that is indeed what I believe, yes. And not just me, by the way. You might already be there, and you've certainly had another guest sit here and former CIA guy, Kirikow, how do you say his last name?
Yeah.
Am I close to how you say it?
You're close. It's closer than I would get.
Okay, good. And he was point blank in saying Israel.
So there's no direct evidence, but what people are essentially doing is putting the pieces together to make a picture.
There is direct evidence. There's just not direct evidence I'm sharing at this moment.
And can you explain to me why recording videos and audio of people getting those kinds of, doing those kinds of things would be a useful asset for this foreign adversary to have?
Sure. Blackmail is not always done by calling you up and saying, hey, Stephen, I'm going to hurt you in the following way if you don't do A, B, or C. The other version is far better, which is even alluded to in some of the now released material, which is he calls and he says, Stephen, I've got terrible news. Do you remember you had that massage from Cindy? You know, that girl, Cindy? Oh, yeah, I remember. Well, she recorded something. She had something in her bag. She made a recording, and I got worse news, Stephen. The girl's 16 and a half. And now, by the way, you are stomach drops, diarrhea. You are in a world of stress right now, just hearing that. And he, instead of being your blackmailer, becomes your rescuer. He says, I can handle it, I can handle it, I can handle it. She's got the recordings. I don't know where they are, but I can handle it, I can handle it, I can handle it. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. And he owns you now forever. If you were involved in a naked experience with someone who's underage, and there's a video of it and audio of it as well, you will do anything that you are asked to do that is within reason. Very few people would have the character and the stamina to do what you describe Bezos doing, which is that he wrote a public letter saying a very unusual thing happened to me the other day. I'm being blackmailed by the National Enquirer, and here's what they said. That's very, very rare. And so, a senator, a congressman, he owned a lot of people.
The Dylan Howard, Israeli intelligence connection. Dylan Howard, the National Enquirer's editor-in-chief, who sent the blackmail email to Bezos threatening to release intimate images, was simultaneously working on a book with a former Israeli intelligence agent at the very same time as the hack and blackmail operation. That is not a coincidence anyone should brush past. The Epstein thread. This is where it gets truly labyrinthine. Former senior executive for Israel's Directorate of Military Intelligence, Ari Ben-Menashe, claimed he met Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell in the 1980s, and that both were already working with Israeli intelligence at that time. Epstein met with former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak on nearly a monthly basis, 36 times between 2013 and 2017. After one visit to Epstein's Manhattan apartment in 2017, Barak was spotted leaving the building with his face covered to avoid surveillance cameras. Former NSA counterspy John Schindler wrote that Epstein appeared to have been part of a shadowy Israeli influence operation. Here is what the documented record shows. National Enquirer David Pecker ran a catch-and-kill blackmail operation for Trump. His editor Dylan Howard was simultaneously collaborating with a former Israeli intelligence operative. The mechanism used to hack Bezos was Israeli-made Pegasus spyware sold to Saudi Arabia, with Kushner facilitating the deal. Epstein ran what appears to have been a honey trap and blackmail operation on behalf of Israel, with surveillance cameras in every room, with deep documented ties to Israeli intelligence going back to the 1980s. Epstein, Maxwell, Pecker, NSO Group, Kushner, MBS. These are not random overlapping social circles. This is an intelligence operation with multiple layers, multiple clients, and multiple governments, with a shared interest in compromising and controlling American politicians and business leaders. The Enquirer's safe full of buried stories was not journalism. It was leverage.
Do you think Jeffrey Epstein was a spy?
I believe very strongly he was a spy, yes.
And who do you think he was working for?
The Israelis.
Documents by the US Department of Justice show he was deeply entangled with Israeli intelligence. Newly released FBI documents cite a confidential informant clearly saying that Epstein was a co-opted Mossad agent. But that's not all. In the book Epstein, Dead Men Tell No Tales, former Israeli agent Ari Ben-Manash openly claims that Epstein was running a Mossad honey trap operation after being recruited by Ghislaine Maxwell to blackmail global political figures to favor Israeli interests. Her father, Robert Maxwell, is widely thought to have been an Israeli spy, confirmed by an Epstein email which was released in the latest batch of documents by the DOJ. The email states that Maxwell had free access to the White House, Downing Street, the Kremlin, and European elites. Although he later downplayed it, US prosecutor Alex Acosta, who gave Epstein a generous plea deal in 2008, said, "I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone."